Hi there everybody, welcome to another episode of Stand Your Ground Studio. Today I want to show you a perfect example of how the elite use half-truths and rumors to control the narrative and spoil truth in the minds of the masses. Recently, anonymous members of the infamous website 4chan launched Operation OKKK, where they doctored up a bunch of imagery to make it look like the AOK hand sign is a known white power symbol. Several news sources then picked it up as credible information and effectively spread false news. Those of us who are awake understand that this is the 666 hand sign used by occultists to hide signals in plain sight. And looking into this contrived event, we quickly find what the true agenda was all about. It didn't take long for Twitter users to dig up loads of imagery showing celebrities and politicians of all kinds who used this symbol. People were then able to mock the truth by saying there is a vast conspiracy of white supremacists in our midst, despite the fact that many of these people are not even white. You can see one of the many tweets here. It has the false white power hand symbol we'll go over, matched up with a couple of images we frequently talk about here in the truther community. And OMG, how deep does the rabbit hole go? Now the initial claim was debunked within a day or two, but the damage was done. And I'll step through the whole debacle quickly to catch you up on what happened, because this is not the beginning nor the end of the story. Now, researching this train wreck of an event, I noticed a few prominent themes. They're right here. First, it's about controlling the narrative. Falsely exposing the truth by marrying it to lies, hate speech, and fake news is nothing new. They always make it sound absurd. We're using the echo chamber of the internet, particularly social media, and we get to watch how a handful of people jumpstart the whole process. It's really not that many. They start a false argument with one another. And I have to question, did it actually go viral? Because these stories try to tell us it did, but I can't really tell. We're stirring the pot as usual. Realities and beliefs collide and meld in a way that pisses everyone off. There's a false awakening going on. So waking people up with half-truths is designed to spoil the truth so that they willingly avoid it in the future. And of course, as usual, consensus is fractured even further as more theories and more beliefs result from all the mayhem. Now, going back to before the election, you can see that many members of the so-called alt-right have been flashing the AOK sign very deliberately in public. I have just a few images up here on the screen. You can trace this controversy back to Hillary Clinton making false claims about Pepe the Frog in 2016. So, in February of this year, an idea was hatched on 4chan to troll the mainstream media. They wanted to show that they can get liberals to buy into anything that makes conservatives look like Nazis. So they launched Operation OKKK. Images like this one here had been doctored up with clever hashtags, like this one, #NotOK. The double meaning is that it doesn't just mean okay, nor is it okay to accept this disguised hate speech. Now, it's grown in popularity through various internet circles and has also become attached to the Pepe the Racist Frog meme that was hijacked last year. And you can also see that they slapped the ACLU's logo on there to make it look official. More recently, Gons at Face Like the Sun pointed out the many times that Mike Cernovich has used this symbol publicly. Now, I don't follow the guy, but apparently Mike Cernovich plays the part of the truther, and Gons points out that this is basically truther suicide when you do this. And in that video, Gons left it with an open question. If Mike is a truther, why would he choose to do this? And I think we'll see exactly what Mike Cernovich was up to in just a moment. On April 28th, Cassandra Fairbanks and Mike Cernovich took the latest photo at the White House press secretary podium holding up the AOK 666 hand sign. Emma Roller of Fusion tweeted that photo like you see here. Just two people doing a white power hand gesture in the White House. She then follows it up with this tweet right here for reference, and it's this white power hand symbol we just saw above, which was completely made up. More Twitter accounts immediately activated, backing her up, showing more visuals that we've seen and matching it with Pepe, the supposed racist frog, and saying things like Trump has normalized it. From here, Emily Sugarman of The Independent wrote one of the laziest articles you can imagine, essentially spreading a rumor while proving herself wrong in the process. She claimed that the Anti-Defamation League approved this one-handed gesture as a white power symbol, and then she posted a link to a completely different hand sign altogether. You can see that it uses two hands and not one. You can also see how they posted this article to Twitter. Right here. Some people think this means Donald Trump is Illuminati. So we're already seeing how the Illuminati are being thrown in the mix. And, as expected, people were blown away by how terrible the reporting was. So 2 days later, the ADL confirmed that this was a hoax started by 4chan Anons. And as reported here, we now have a community of people willing to believe in some form of this lie. If you don't know my channel very well, I'll say it plainly. This did not happen by accident, and the media did not become so gullible all at once. They've been stepping into the fake news trap ever since they made a big deal out of it. Really, this serves to put the truth in plain sight and mix it with every form of ridiculous fakery you can find. You can see a quote from 4chan that puts the real agenda in very simple terms. Highlighted here in red, it's about making this topic untouchable to the rest of society. Naturally, a ridiculous argument was started across the internet, and is focused entirely on the bogus claim that the AOK hand sign is a white supremacist signal. Now, both of these outlets point out how ridiculous the white power claim is and then spend their entire segments mocking any liberal media that thinks this means everyone is a white supremacist. The message they're sending is, anyone who believes anything like this claim is a complete moron who falls for fake news. So again, we're associating the truth with bigotry, fake news, and media meltdowns based on fantasy. So go ahead and listen to these two clips if you want to get an understanding of why these outlets exist in the first place. They're gatekeepers. They're there to send people in the wrong direction and fan the flames of arguments online. When contacted about this controversy, Mike Cernovich gave this response here. It started off as a joke about Jay-Z. He and Beyonce used to do it, and some said it was an Illuminati symbol. We started doing it as a joke, and it took on a life of its own. So according to him, he thought he was having a little bit of fun at the expense of some Illuminati conspiracy theory, and other publications quote him as saying he didn't know about the 4chan operation. As always, it's played off as a fun joke. But as some articles point out, what does it say about the White House and press that they play jokes with a wink and a nod in the White House? And when does irony become reality? We don't know. The lines are blurring. They even say that in those articles. In any case, with the truth in plain sight, it's time to publicly make fun of it. It's time to wake up to the notorious AOK gang who have infiltrated every part of our society. From the article itself, trigger warning, Twitter detectives were inspired to do some research of their own, and the results are terrifying. Turns out that white power hand signal is everywhere, and you know where this is going. So here's Cassandra Fairbanks saying, there's literally a million photos of everyone from Beyonce to Obama doing it in photos, idiot. And she's talking to her accuser. And here we have one of them. Gasp, oh my God, here's the Pope doing it. Here's the one we saw earlier. OMG, how deep does the rabbit hole go? And wow, here's Beyonce again, confirmed Nazi. And we got all these familiar images right here. Look at all these white supremacists giving the white power sign, SMH. And Mel Gibson just flashed the racist Pepe hand gesture at the Oscars, a vile white supremacist. All of it speaking very facetiously. From someone named Jesus the Creator, Denzel Washington approves hand sign. And here he is giving the 666 hand symbol right next to the 66 Great Looks headline right there. And over here we get to their main point. I can't believe an entire political party got trolled into going to war with a cartoon frog and some silly hand gesture. And taking it a step further, we're going to see this again. What's to stop the trolls taking over all symbols? What's to stop them from turning the rainbow flag into a racist symbol? We'll get back to that. But it gets more personal. How many times have you seen somebody defiantly flash one of these symbols saying, look, now I'm doing it. Does that make me part of some secret club? A little bit further down was this tweet. My kid made cheer yesterday, but according to The Independent and Emma Roller, they're white supremacists. So when people begin to mock the truth and defiantly flash these symbols themselves, they think they're taking ownership of this reality by making a joke out of it. Instead, the symbol propagates itself further and its true meaning becomes more obscured. So this tweet is right in line with another story that was posted only a couple of weeks earlier. Same things going on. So a children's baseball team was named the Illuminati as a supposed joke. In very much the same fashion, the echo chamber that is Twitter and mainstream media attempted to make it sound like it was a huge success and just plain brilliant. Friends of the guy who initially tweeted it asked if Beyonce was their mascot and also mentioned that their slogan ought to be, "The future is bright." They were aptly referring to an illuminated new age that is almost upon us, which is commentary that is rather on the nose for people who think it's just a joke. And of course, the "Trust No One" tagline on the baseball cap is the perfect ironic touch. You really should not be trusting these people. But this is also an example of how the enemy uses irony and humor to blur the lines of fact and fiction. People think stuff like this is a joke, which allows them to feel like they own it. But I guess no one wants to see the obvious symbolism right here, which is that our children are literally joining their team. Now I imagine most people, when they hear about this white supremacist claim, will simply chalk it up to stupidity and fake news owning the day. And there's truth in that. And that truth is that everyone will interpret these symbols however they choose to interpret them. That's the power of projection. But there's more. There's already an effort to turn the peace sign, otherwise known as V for victory or V for fifth age, and turn it into a hate symbol. And this hasn't gained traction yet, but it needs to be noted. The symbol is meant to show that there are only two genders. And stopping right there, that is absolutely true. There are only two genders. That has always been the truth and always will be the truth. But that's not the message they're sending. In true form, we're marrying truth to hate. These people will send a warning to all those, quote, genderqueers to be careful. We're coming for you. It is menacing and it is meant to be hateful and to put people on notice that they need to be afraid. And it has nothing to do with the truth. It is exactly why the truth always sounds hateful, because it's always married to hate speech. Now, in the end, people are going to settle on whatever pieces of truth resonates with their worldview. And looking at a whole bunch of stories and how people are writing on it, they each took fragments of the truth and ran with it in their respective directions. So there's just two on the screen right here. The one on the top took it in the direction of, why are there Russians in the White House? Why are they flirting with the alt-right? What's going on there? This one down here completely ignores all the claims about white supremacy, but it says it's entirely probable that the OK hand sign flashed by Cernovich and Fairbanks has some in meaning. So they're taking bits and pieces of truth. And going a little bit deeper, on one hand, we have people who will think this is stupid on every level and will never buy into it. Just because someone flashes a common hand sign does not mean they're in some secret club. Fair enough. On the other hand, people are willing to notice that there is a clear intent to flash these signs for some reason. And when you point out that almost anybody can use them, you can imagine the arguments swirling around the internet right now, and at work, at lunch, at the grocery store. And after all that, good luck telling people that these symbols belong to a satanic cult that has hijacked the system from top to bottom. Can't wait to hear how it goes. So to wind this video down, I want to bring up that the media has recently dubbed this spike in fake news and alternative facts as the post-truth era. And I've mentioned that we're fracturing public consensus numerous times. But here's something I'd like to add. When controlling large groups of people with rumors and half-truths, the perfect enemy of truth is not lies. Lies can be sorted out. The word of the day is obfuscation, and the definition is down here. As a noun, it's the action of making something obscure, unclear, unintelligible, to throw into shadow, to darken, to make obscure, to be evasive, unclear, or confusing. So why do I bring that up? When you blur the lines of reality, no one can quite tell what's real versus fake, fact versus fiction, a joke versus a serious threat. In this reality, anything is true and everything is fake. In this reality, the world can truly be flipped upside down. Taken far enough, you can frustrate people to the point that if they somehow held the truth in their own hands, they'd throw it away in disgust. Now, if you feel like you can't keep up with the confusion, please don't feel bad about it. This is all designed to be an overwhelming burden on the mind. Every topic going on right now. Worldly truth is relative and changes almost daily at this point. Meanwhile, trustworthy information is being destroyed almost completely. If you want real truth, I pray that you seek out Jesus Christ. He truly is the only way. When you are yoked with him, your burden becomes very light. And I will testify to that fact and would love to speak to it further in later videos. In the meantime, please drop any comments below. Let me know if you've seen this story or have any info I might have missed. I really do pray that you're all well and seeking out God's kingdom. I'll talk to you soon. Take care and God bless.